Can I say something out loud that a lot of women are thinking, but not admitting? When the kids leave, it's not just the house that feels empty, it's the role you lived inside for decades. And suddenly everyone's asking, so what are you going to do now? And you're smiling and thinking, I have no idea. And that kind of scares me. If that's you, let me slow this way down for a second. This season doesn't mean you've missed your chance. It doesn't mean you've waited too long. And it definitely doesn't mean your best ideas are behind you. Today, we're talking about reinventing your career, your hobbies, or even just how you see yourself after the kids leave. Not in a flashy, pressure-filled way, but in a grounded, human, you don't have to figure it all out today way. And if you ever thought, is this ridiculous to start something new at my age? I really want you to keep listening. Let's begin. I'm going to give you 4 points today to consider when you're thinking about reinventing your career or hobbies or just yourself in midlife. Point number 1, the question isn't, what should I do? It's what do I miss about myself? When the kids leave, the house gets quiet, but the bigger shock is realizing how quiet you got too. Most women jump straight in to what job should I get or what hobby should I try? I did that. I got a job at the dental office to fill my time. But the real starting point is noticing what part of you went dormant while you were busy being a mom. When I realized what part of me went dormant, I went to a class, a 4-month Next Chapter leadership series that went through some of these things of helping me realize what went dormant, what do I love to do? And that's what brought me to life coaching. But the real starting point for you is noticing what part of you went dormant while you were being a busy mom. When I was first married, my husband, my dad, and I did a trip to Zion's National Park. We hiked up to Angel's Landing out to the point, and then back down. We hiked up Observation Point, backpacked up there, and slept there for the night. Once we started having kids, we weren't hiking quite as much. It was just hard. We had to bring all their stuff. They would resist. We would have to bribe them and talk them into going. And so sometimes it just felt like too much. And we just didn't end up going quite as much. And so it got less and less. And this kind of went dormant. But then I found a women's group that does outdoor adventures. I could just pack up my stuff, visit with women the whole day. There was no bribing women to get up the top of the mountain. They wanted to do it as well. And I really enjoyed it. It helped propel me to work on other things that lit me up. This last year, we went and hiked Angel's Landing. This time it was in the winter, so we had spikes on and we all made it to the top. It was so fun, just by myself with these other women, and something that I love to do. So here you go. Here's your first take-home tip, my first point. Tonight, write down one thing you loved before having kids and one thing you secretly Google but never say out loud. That will be a fun one. And one thing you miss about who you used to be. Just noticing. Point number 2, age is not the problem. Fear is. It's not too late. It's just a sentence your brain learned somewhere. It's not a fact. Most women don't even start asking these questions until their 40s and 50s. So here's some examples. A woman starting a photography business at 52. A mom going back to school after the kids left. Someone turning a hobby into income, not because she needed money, but because she wanted something that was hers. Being the oldest person in a yoga class full of 23-year-olds named Brinley. Or feeling ridiculous being a beginner and surviving. A friend of mine in her 40s had a teaching degree, but she always wanted to learn about the human brain and the medical field. She desired it. We talked about desires in episode 2. So she went back to college with the 20-somethings. It just hits differently when you learn something as an older person because you have the desire to learn it. When I was in college, I had a financial planning degree, and there was this woman in my classes. I felt like she was so old. She must have been at least in her 40s, maybe even her 50s. She was so interested in the material. She asked so many questions. I was just there to get the degree. She learned so much more. It's fun to learn when it's something that you desire, that you want to learn about. So here's your take-home tip for point number 2. Pick one low-risk environment. Take a class. Join the group. Volunteer one afternoon. Sell one thing, teach one workshop, sign up for one course. You're not committing to forever. You're gathering data. Point number 3, hobbies aren't frivolous, they're rehearsal. Hobbies aren't a waste of time. They rebuild confidence. They remind your brain that you can learn again. Many careers start as hobbies once pressure is removed. So here's an idea for you. A friend of mine, when I was becoming an empty nester, I asked her for some advice, and she said, make a bucket list of 20 things that you want to learn about, where you want to go, places you'd like to visit, things that you want to do because now you have the time and the resources. So I made my bucket list, and on it was to visit Greece. The dental office I worked for, we'd make goals each month and we'd do a trip. And so when they said, where do you want to go next? I knew exactly where I wanted to go. I put it on my bucket list. Greece is where I said I knew what I wanted to do because I had written it down. I had dreamed. I had thought, where have I always wanted to go? What have I always wanted to do? And that has guided me as I have made steps towards what I want my life to look like as I dreamed about. So here's your take-home tip. Ask yourself, would I still want this if no one applauded? Does this give me energy even when I'm bad at it? That's your clue. Point number 4. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but you've done hard things before. Of course it's scary to be new again. Of course your brain wants to keep you small and safe. That doesn't mean to stop. To be onto your brain. You raised humans. You adapted through every season of motherhood. My daughter-in-law is pregnant with our first grandkid. And we were talking about pregnancy and her birthing plan. I'm so excited for them. I'm so excited to become a grandma. And I also realized how many seasons of motherhood I figured out. I learned, I adapted since I was pregnant with my first child. That's big stuff. Just take that into the next season. You already know how to learn, stretch, figure things out. You did it with motherhood and different kids and so many situations that you had to figure out and learn. So remember that. So this is your take-home tip. When fear shows up, say, I can be scared and still take one step. Not 10, just one. So here's what I want you to remember. This isn't an empty season. It's open space. You don't need a full plan. You don't need confidence. You need one small step, one class, one idea, one yes. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience. And this chapter, it's yours. So please take home one thing you learned today, one take-home tip that resonates with you that you can apply to reinvent yourself or your career or your hobbies in your next chapter. This chapter, it's yours. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. I created a short quiz, Who Am I After the Kids Leave? It helps you name what actually is going on for you in this season and what you might need next. You'll find the link in the description. And if you want more conversations like this, you could subscribe. I'm here every week.